Law Talk with Nick Maruchak. Thanks to MKI Legal, your trusted employment and family lawyers.
I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Yes, it's 23 minutes to 11 right now. 133882. Nick Maruchak from MKI Legal is in the studio, ready to go. G'day, Nick.
G'day, Gary.
What's it like outside there, Mark? I can see a bit of sun actually today. I'm hoping that there will be a bit of sunshine when I leave the building.
Yeah, there's a little bit of sunshine, not too bad.
All right, good stuff. Now, on the line, we'll go straight to it. Nicole. Hello, Nicole.
Good morning.
What can we help you with, Nicole?
Yes, Nick, I hope you can help me. I've got an investment, a rental in Perth, have a tenant in there, and her lease came up, and we gave end of lease notice timeously, and it was very short notice towards the end of lease. She said she couldn't leave, pleaded for an extension, and this has gone on for 6 months now, and we cannot get. So we really want to know, what do we do, and what else do we do to get rid of this tenant from that space? It is our investment. It's impacting, on our financial situation, which we planned to sell, and now we can't because we can't get her out of the premises.
Okay, yeah. So has the lease expired already?
Yes.
Okay, so...
And then we gave her notice, and then she asked, could we extend that? And we did. We've done that 3 times.
Okay, so the most recent extension, the lease has come to an end, the fixed-term lease, and now the fixed-term lease is over, but she's still in the property, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so there are very specific rules that a landlord has to follow to evict a tenant lawfully. So it's governed by the Residential Tenancies Act. So you really got to follow the process right. The Department of Commerce has a great landlord handbook that will go through the process, but you basically have to give first set of notice is you have to give a notice to terminate the lease, And so if the lease has come to an end, I believe you have to give at least 30 days written notice to terminate it. If you haven't, so have you given that written notice of termination?
Yes.
Okay, you've given that. You've given that, and then the tenant still hasn't left. They refuse to leave.
Yep.
Okay, see that I've been my parents have been in that situation before, and it can be very difficult, right? Because that means now you have to actually make an application to the Magistrates Court. They have a tenancy division there. So you have to go in there, make the application, and get an order to basically evict the tenant. So you lodge the application, you make sure all your documents are done properly, and when I say the documents, make sure you follow the process of submitting those forms. Those forms are regulated forms that a landlord has to give to the tenant. So you have to make sure you've given them. You make sure, so you lodge your application with the Magistrates Court, then you have to serve the tenant by giving them a copy of it, make sure that's done properly. Then the court will have a mediation and a hearing, and then you get a court order to evict them. And then if the tenant still doesn't leave when the court order is handed down by the Magistrates Court, then the bailiff comes in, and that's where you can actually, use force to get rid of them. But you can't go in there and just, grab them with some muscly guys and get rid of them.
Oh, man, that's got to be done by bailiffs, basically an officer of the court, essentially.
Yeah, they will come in and they'll get rid of them. So, and it's a hassle because that period between when you're giving notice and you're going through the court system, the tenant's just living there, right? And in my parents' situation, the guy was staying there for a couple of months. And then when we got the court order, he just walked out, left everything, left all this stuff.
Okay.
And
how long had the person been there, Nicole? All up?
3 years.
Okay. And in terms of them now being there, are they still paying any form of rent?
We're behind with some rent at the moment. It's never on time, but we do get there a week later or so. But I just want to know, what is the time frame, or do you have an idea of the time frame from the magistrate to actually issuing her with the notice? What's the time frame in the Magistrate Court? Yeah,
Magistrates Court. So I haven't done one recently, but when I did it, I think it's in the months, right? In a few months is my estimate on how long it will take to get there. It's not longer than other cases, so give it a couple of months before they go through the process. they can be a bit quicker than normal cases. And also, recover recover the unpaid rent as well. That's something you're entitled to. Recover your court costs. And I also know that people in the tenancy industry also have a bit of a blacklist of tenants, right? That a database that they keep. So there are some privacy laws that apply to them as well. I know people in, property managers have these lists that go around. You can only keep a tenant on the list for a certain period of time, I think a few years. But that might be also a useful kind of gauge to when you're, as a landlord, when you're filtering people.
Does Nicole need a lawyer to go through this Magistrates Court process?
I think, Nicole, you can do it yourself. Give it a go. And there are also restrictions on a lawyer acting, right? In these in these courts, a lawyer has to get permission. Has to get permission from the court to act. They don't have to act right away. And in this jurisdiction, a lot of there are specialist tenancy advocates that operate in this jurisdiction. So definitely you can do it yourself. You just got to get that landlord's handbook. Make sure you've given the notice properly, and you've waited that sufficient period of time. And then when the court application is filed, make sure that's served properly, because the biggest hiccup in all of this for a landlord is a tenant saying, oh, you didn't technically follow something. You missed, you did a hiccup on this. Right. And then, things get delayed and then and then they stay there longer.
It's a frustrating situation, Nicole, but it sounds like you're going to have to make that trip to the Magistrates Court and start that process of eviction in a very formal way.
Yeah.
I hope that helped, and good luck with it. Come back to us if you're still struggling in months' time. Your house.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. The tenancy's up and they're basically squatting there. But all right, Andrew is on the line. G'day, Andrew. You got an airline with an issue. Got an airline issue.
Morning, guys. Nick, 6-7 months ago, I booked some flights with an Asian airline to fly out of the country on the 31st of July. We got on the 11th of June with an email from them saying that flight has been cancelled and you're now leaving on the 1st of August. And I just let that ride. I thought, what the heck?
Yeah.
Last night, 4:30 in the afternoon, I got another email saying my 1st of August flight has been cancelled and I'm now leaving on the 2nd of August.
Yeah.
I tried to cannot contact this Asian airline. There's no phone numbers. You send emails, you get no response from them. But the frustrating part for me is I can go online and I can buy on the same plane, same time, same date, the 31st of July, I can still buy tickets at 4 times the price what I paid for. The 1st of August, I can buy tickets for 4 times the price I paid for. Have I got any rights here in Australia? Is there someone I can talk to in Australia or anything?
Okay, so there is this airline consumer advocate, right? So there's like an ombudsman. But the problem with this airline consumer advocate, and that's a good place to go, it only covers a few airlines. So it only got Jetstar, Qantas, Rex, and Virgin, right? So it sounds like this airline is not covered. And generally speaking, right, you look at the terms and conditions of the airline, and then they'll say that these airlines have the right to reschedule these flights. Your flight is not guaranteed, and they can change it. So it sounds like, Andrew, they've changed it from just to the next day, right? And so is that what they did? They kind of shifted you for about 12 hours, 14 hours the next day?
Initially, it was 24 hours. 24
hours, yeah.
And now it's another 24 hours. So now it's 2 days after I wanted to fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
So I think that... And it sounds like you're telling me they've got these spots, but they're not giving it to you because they want to sell those premium spots for a higher ticket, right?
As of last night, I could go online and I could buy tickets on my original time and then the amended time or amended day. Everything is exactly the same, but the tickets are 4 times the price of what I pay.
Yeah. So you just can't contact them, and that's the problem. Because
out of interest, there's obviously a phone number here in Australia, mate, and there's obviously a chat window that you can have as well with the AirAsia. Have they ever rung you back, or you've had anyone on the phone to speak to?
Okay, they only do it via WhatsApp. I logged on to WhatsApp at 5 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. I am still on hold on the WhatsApp as they are saying all their customers, all their clients, all their representatives are busy. They will get back to me. And I've slept right through the night and I'm still on hold on their WhatsApp app.
my suspicion is you got to read the terms and conditions, and that sounds boring, right? But their terms and conditions will probably cover them for this.
It is there,
right?
the terms and conditions.
And if I tell you, Andrew, just go book another flight, a more expensive flight, and then go to maybe consumer protection and try and recover that cost, that might be risky. They might turn around and go, look, we have the right to. We have the right under the terms and conditions to put you on another.
Yeah, but they have a duty to then explain it to the customer. I mean, that's the problem here, isn't it? That if Andrew had someone on the phone that might go through it with him, that would help, perhaps.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they've just got him by the short and curlies, haven't they? I mean, they've just got him because you can't even get to speak to them.
Generally, if the alternative flight was unreasonable, and if this falls in the unreasonable category, then you probably can terminate. And they probably don't have the right to do that, but within 24 hours and 48 hours.
Just quickly, you did book it yourself, didn't you? It's not through a travel agent, Andrew.
Yeah, no, it's straight online.
And have you got any travel insurance? Because sometimes the travel insurance does help. They do. They are able to. Sorry?
We do have travel insurance. We do have travel insurance. The frustrating part is, I've lost 2 days of my trip.
Yeah.
When you're only going for a week, you lose 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I do my head in. I'm hearing you, mate. I hear your pain. But if he's got travel insurance, then isn't the next port of call the insurance company?
I think so.
And they
right?
may be able to try and circuit break this thing.
If you speak to a travel insurer and saying they've delayed my flights, some insurance policies do cover this. So that is something you could probably
absolutely. All right, okay. Andrew, maybe that's the first thing you do. I know that, I'm hoping that there's a phone number you can ring the insurance company. Welcome to the modern world where it's so easy to fob you off through the digital side of things. I get it.
And I'll say in Europe, they do have these compensation schemes where airlines are delayed, right? And then you get money straight away out of it. And they've got a much better process to handling than we've got to hear. We
talk about it, but we don't do it. All right, 133 882. Feel free to give us a call. We've got time for some more calls after this. 133 882. Nick Maruchak from MKI Legal at 12 to 11. If Andrew's listening, I had a weird idea in the ad break there, Nick. I thought, well, maybe if Andrew takes the ticket that was issued to him, which we know that they're not honouring, etc., they've changed, and goes down to the airport at around the time that one of those airlines' flights are going out and stands at the check-in and goes up and speaks to a human being and says, righto, here's my situation. You can't help me online. You can't help me on the phone. Here it is. This is what I had. Now, what are you going to do about it? Maybe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Write a few negative reviews online and just try and just be a bit pushy and maybe you get lucky.
Front up to the terminal and just go and have a crack. You never know. All right, let's get to back to the lines. Matt's there. What's your issue, Matt?
Hello. There's a large telco in Australia that when you work for them as a contractor, they want to clip 100 kilometres off either direction of any trip. So you lose 200 kilometres per trip and basically they'll pay you mileage after that. Would that be legal to ask for 200 kilometres free for a round trips or 100 kilometres in one direction?
Yeah, okay, so you're a contractor, not an employee. So as a contractor, you've got to provide your own vehicles. You've got to pay for your own fuel. This 100-kilometre thing, though, sounds excessive. How exactly does that work? Because that's a lot of kilometres they're clipping off you.
Well, they're trying to say that's metro area. Now, when you look at Google Maps and you do a 100-kilometre radius, you end up in the wheat belt and a lot of greenery and farms.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's dud. That's a dud, isn't it? It's trying it on.
I don't think it doesn't sound fair, but what you got to do is you got to look at the terms of the agreement. They'll have a contractor agreement. You got to have a look at the specific definitions they use in there and see if just give it the ordinary meaning and see if you can twist the definitions to what's the definition of metro area, right? It's the common understanding of it. And I would just contact them and see. Have you tried to lodge a complaint with them and see if you had any luck with that?
I have through because there's a tier one contractor in between you and the telco, and they basically say it's either that or you don't sign up, so you have no recourse.
Oh wow! I don't know, and you're not unionised, I don't suppose, in that instance. So
because look, there is this one area of law. There is you know, there is, if something is an unfair contract term in a contractor agreement, you can challenge it, right? So this is probably something that may, like you can, if you can't get any luck with them and you think this might be an unfair contract term, you can take this to the courts and the court can make a decision because, you know, although contractors do have private contract agreements between them and the principal, there is this law that does make sure that there isn't any harsh terms. So that one sounds like might be it.
And further legal advice in terms of workplace.
So you might
law.
threaten, have a look at the unfair contractor legislation and maybe raise that with them and going, you know what, that might be crossing the line there.
All right, okay. Good luck with it. Mick, what's up, Mick? This sounds interesting, Mick.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, it's about, I've been working with this betting agency for the past probably 50 years, but last 2 or 3 years I've been betting on the line with them. So my daily deposit limit is $1,000 a day. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I just noticed in my bank account, I was betting $2,300 without them stopping me. Now, when I think back, I think I know 3 times this happened before, so I don't know if I have any case for...
Jeez. All right, okay. Well, so that must be written somewhere, Mick, I'm assuming.
It's like breach of contract.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is it a breach of contract that the betting agencies are suddenly allowing him to go above his limit? I mean,
So were you betting through directly in person, or was this done through an app?
Wasn't it?
Or online? Where was the betting done?
All online?
Yeah, online. I'm betting online. It's like a contract and allows limit is $1,000. And over the years, I did ask if I can get more, but now that was $1,000. So it sounds like a breach of contract.
Interesting breach of contract.
I think that one's a really challenging one. I think it might be. Are these betting agencies overseas or are they in Australia?
No, can I mention the name?
Just tell me where they are.
Where are they? Are they Australian or not? Hey?
No, it's Western Australia.
Okay. Maybe I can take your details and I'm going to do some research and I'll see if I can help you out there because it sounds like they've done something wrong. I just don't know exactly what they've done.
All right. Good luck with that one, Nick. Thanks very much for coming in. Very interesting case. We will be back with you on Thursday. It is right now 3 minutes to 11.